J'Onre Reed fans, welcome to a very special edition of the Peristyle Podcast. It's been a little while since me and Connor have been able to talk to you about what's going on with the USC Trojan football team. But USC spring practice started, and that means we're getting back into the swing of actual football, getting on the field, hitting pads, all that kind of stuff. And we're back with our House of Victory special guest. So we're going to jump into that. No preamble, no introduction or anything, because we have our guest here. Joining us right now live over video chat, J'Onre Reed, the Syracuse offensive line transfer, coming in looking like he's going to be the starting center for USC. Look at big number 50 out there. J'Onre, you call him Big General. Thanks for joining the show. We really appreciate you coming on.
Man, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's nice. So Syracuse we have two. So it's me. I went to USC. I have two Syracuse grads next to me now. So both two Syracuse degrees here. Connor's so excited. This was our first interview.
Well, I remember before J'Onre committed, we were talking about how I was DMing you. You might not remember, but we were talking about how we both went to Syracuse, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm going to come to USC," and then you announced it shortly thereafter. So, very happy to have you follow out here to LA, and really excited to see what you can do on the field, man. So, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you.
All right, it's good to have you. Just let me know, we're live on YouTube. We might be live on Facebook too. I'm not really sure about it, but we're live on YouTube. If you have any questions for Big General, you can put them up in the chat, and I will try to pull them up on the screen. We do want to thank our House of Victory for setting this up. We're going to put a little QR code up there. So if you've seen, we're going to talk about this later in the show. Connor and I will talk later in the show about day one of spring practice and some of the new recruiting updates that have been going on. Things are going in a positive direction. And if you want to help out, House of Victory has been a big part of that. There's a QR code on the screen. We'll put it up later as well if you want to donate and help USC funding the student athletes like J'Onre, who's joining us today. But again, thank them for being part of that. And I know you took part in an event recently with House of Victory. You've only been on campus a couple of months here now, but maybe tell us what that was about. We got some photos of people to let people know what it was like.
Okay. Yeah. So me personally, I always wanted to get more into the community. I feel like personally, as a football team, as a football program, we as players, we have to do as much as we can to be in the community. Like the community support us. Like without the community, we're nobody. So like I feel like, man, we got to do everything possibly to get back into the community. And I want to do more to give back to the community. And that was just one thing that Hove set me up with that I love to do. So we ended up going to a food bank, and when we went to the food bank, we ended up processing over 9,000 pounds of apples. We were just bagging up apples, had to put 10 to 12 apples into a bag and repeat the step back to back. We had like a lot of apples in there. And it was fun. I think me and my team, we went through 2 big old bands. So it was lit. I liked it, man. I want to go back. I want to go back as soon as possible. I like doing stuff like that. It's fun. It feels good.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique experience. It's becoming more professional, obviously, right? Being a student athlete, it's good for you guys as players getting compensated, but still having that sort of connection to the community. I love food bank. I do work with like Meals on Wheels and things like that. So anytime you're trying to providing food for those in need is always great. So I don't know if you've done other ones or if has that been your favorite activity so far.
I was about to say, excuse me. I like doing things like rescue mission. I definitely I like going serving hot meals. I like doing that. I like a lot of things dealing with like shelter homes and stuff like that because it just resonated with me a little bit more. Even like back home, when I went home for spring break back in Houston, my pops, he even helped do it. Like, he does that every Sunday. He go home every Sunday. He drives out with a truck where he got a washer and dryer on it, a place where you can wash your clothes, take a bath, get a haircut sometimes, and they feed. You got hot plates, and that's something that he do that actually shocked me because I was like, that's crazy, like how you do that, and I didn't even know that, and I be trying to do that, and I was like, it's just he was like, yeah, help out where you can because you don't get dealt the proper hand, not in reality. So I just try to give back because it just feel right. It's the right thing to do. You never know.
That's an amazing mindset. Keep up the great work. So we can start here with more stuff about you. How'd you get the nickname Big General? How'd that come to be?
Now, I got the name from Big General from Hutch JUCO. You know, my boy Shello. Shout out to my boy Shello. Shello, he played wide receiver. Man, he ended up one day we playing our rivals. Was supposed to be our rivals. What's they called? That's how you know. Butler College. We don't even like talk. We call them the Purple School. I forgot their name, but we were playing the Purple School, and so we out there, man. You know, we whooping ass like we always supposed to do. I mean, I think we ran for over like 360 yards, but the whole time it was a cold night game. It wasn't a packed game, so it was cold, so a lot of people left. So we out there, man, like middle of the fourth quarter. You know, we doing what we do. We running up the ball, man. So like my boy, he said he on the sideline. He said he came out from the sideline. He said on the field, like I hear you yelling and shit. But he was like, bro, I'm on the sideline. I'm hearing you make the calls, make the checks. And then like I'm a big fan of Kevin Gates, and they know like I listen to Kevin Gates. That's my guy. He was like, yeah, bro, that's some Big General shit. And I was like, oh yeah, I like that. And then so after the game, we kicking it. I'm watching the film already on the game, and my boy, I was about to change my Twitter name. I was like, yo, should I change this Twitter name today? And he was like, yeah. And then my boy Jacoby, he was like, yeah, change it to that. That's a good name for you. That's what we want to start calling you, the Big General. And I was like, bet. And then I changed the name, and then ever since then, I had got the name Big General. And I just been walking with it. I kind of dropped the big in the sense of like professional, but like I say, I go by like, you can just call me General, you know, but like it is still the Big General on the field. But around campus, just call me General.
Nice.
You know?
I didn't. Do you still use X or Twitter? I didn't see your. I usually put your handle up on the screen, but you can let people know if you want. Or what's your big social media one? We can tell people about it.
Well, you can hit my Twitter. You know my Twitter. I be on it. I be keeping up with everything going. My Twitter is @GoGetAReed, GoGettaReed, and then same with my Instagram. Go get a read. You know,
nice.
Yeah, so it ain't gonna change.
So the transfer portal is pretty crazy. What was that experience like for you when you entered the portal? How did the contact with USC come about and all that? Like, what was that experience like, and how fast was it? I know it's a much faster process than the high school recruiting thing.
Well, out of high school, I didn't really have a recruiting process. So I didn't know what it felt like. I thought I knew the recruiting process coming out of JUCO, where it was like, okay, I got coaches and stuff. But that kind of like sitting back, like from the transfer portal, from like getting recruited out of JUCO. Yeah, that JUCO is like getting high school recruited. Like, you know, you get a coach and talk to you. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even know my name was in the portal. Like, I know I had petitioned and told my coaches and everything. I was like, you know, I want to see about my eligibility, see if I get my JUCO back. And, you know, if you can't help me, I'm going to go in the portal. And then they were like, okay. Next thing you know, I got a call from like an old coach that tried to recruit me. What the hell you doing in the portal? I said, huh? Like, what you mean? What you doing in the portal? Like, I'm in the portal? So I got to start checking my email. I'm like, oh, snap, I'm in the portal. Oh, okay. I didn't even know. Like, so I'm like, all right. He like, well, shit, you got an offer here. Let me know. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, all right. Like, I'm discombobulated. I don't know what to do. Next thing you know, I started getting Twitter DMs like crazy. Boom. Coaches that have my number don't change. So you got it. But coaches that didn't try to recruit me from JUCO and then try to flip me while I was at school, while I was at Syracuse when my previous head coach was fired. They called, they reached out. So I was just getting like calls and texts, and I didn't even know how to like handle it because I wasn't prepared for it because I didn't know. So I think I was in the portal for 26 minutes, and I had like 20, 30 plus coaches hit me. So it was crazy. Didn't even know. And then next thing you know, I'm talking to my agent. I'm like, okay, bro, so what we thinking? I'm like, all right, I want to get somewhere closer back to my family. New York was just way too far. And Syracuse alone was just too far. Like if anything ever happened, you got to take 2 planes to get from Houston, Texas, back to Syracuse. So I'm like, okay, so can't do that. We can't go somewhere back north. I love the Northeast. I like the cold. I like playing in the cold weather. That's why I went there. Kansas was cold. I like the cold, but I grew up in the heat. So I was like, okay, so let's start figuring out where we gonna go. Okay, he said somewhere hot. He was like, but we also need a place that you gonna have to like, you come in, you're gonna lead. Like you gotta lead. You gotta show that characteristic. Rebuild that up too. So I was like, okay, we gotta figure that out. And also a place that can develop you, but also give you the most exposure you need. So I'm like, all right, so what we thinking? And I'm like, I don't know, shoot, you tell me. Like we got everything on the table. Like, so like, what do we do? How about this? So my agent, Charles Bentley, he was like, let me help you. So we start narrowing down this. Okay, no, that's not gonna work for you. This offense, it's a good offense, but it's not driven for you. He was like, you need an offense where you can show explosion. Because you explosion, you got explosion. So I'm like, okay. And he was like, USC. I was like, USC? I was like, you talking about Southern Cal, right? He was like, making sure he wasn't talking about South Carolina. And then he was like, no, yeah, we talking about Southern Cal. I'm like, okay. LA? I'm like, okay. Like, all right, bet. So I'm like, all right. So then next thing you know, he was like, okay. So then I had a coach that I knew that hit me up from UCLA. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, all right, UCLA. I'm like, okay. So then I take a visit to UCLA. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm liking it. I'm understanding it. I'm like, all right. Then USC get wind. They like, hey, you in town. Fuck everything else. You coming over. Like, we going to get your plan and everything handled. We going to come pick you up. I'm like, I bet. They come pick me up. I've been talking to Coach Hanson and Coach Lincoln for a little minute. So, like, we was already communicating by setting up a visit. But since I was already in town, it was like, scratch everything. We finna just move you over here to the real LA. So I was like, all right, bet. So then I cool up. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I'm looking at a whole different view versus Westwood. So I'm like, okay, this is more familiar. I like this. This is cool. So I'm talking to Coach Hanson. We going through football. And I'm listening to him. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, you know football. You know ball. You know, cool. I know ball. You can help me with more balls, right? So we talking football. I'm like, I'm liking it. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know. So I'm talking to Lincoln Riley. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing him out. He hearing me out. Like, he understanding why I left. He understanding what I'm looking for and what I'm chasing. You know, so he like, I can help you with that. And then I'm like, all right, give me a night. Give me a night to sleep on it. So I ended up sleeping on it, woke up, talked to everybody I thought that kind of had like an important say-so in my life. And made a decision. I was like, yeah, you know what, bro? Like, this is what I need. This is gonna help me. Like, from talking to Coach Wiley about the weight room, I'm like, okay, yeah, like, you know how to train people. Like, he telling me he trained Creed Humphrey, like, one of the best. Like, I want what you did in the weight room with Creed Humphrey with me. I love lifting weights. If you say this is what he did, I want to do this. I want to do everything he did because he was a first-round draft pick center. Like, hell yeah. Like, I want that. Oh, yeah, he was on the Lincoln Riley offense? That. Yeah, I want that. Okay. And then I got a coach that had a first-round draft pick recently. Yeah. Hell yeah. Why not USC? So it was like, all right, bet. So then I was like, yeah, this is the place to be. This is where I want to be. And then we went to work. Next thing you know, I'm here. You know, they got me in just a nick of time before, because, you know, transporters, so you sitting around. Got me in a nick of time before the window closed to get in classes. So they got me rolled, good, everything been great, loving it. You know, learning the offense, bonding with my teammates. Man, these guys, they different. It's different. You know, being from the South, kind of understand a lot. So being able to adapt a lot is easy. But then I was in the East for so long, so I'm so used to like a different type of mentality up there because them boys they look crazy, you know, but they funny. They funny, but they crazy, but they don't like it. Out here, it's a different type of swagger out here, and I'm feeling the swag, but I'm like, okay, like let's embrace the swagger. Like let's not hide the swagger. Let's embrace the swagger. And that's what I want to help do with the team, because I don't want us to be like a generic team. You know? I want us to, like, when people see us, they like, damn, them boys they tight, but like at the same time, like you see our individuality, but then you see what we are as a brotherhood too. You know what I mean? And like that's what I want to help combine. Cause like I'm outside, I'm like, bro, I'm telling my old line, I'm like, why y'all so serious? Like, what are y'all so serious about? Like, hold up, we gotta have fun, bro. We gotta have fun. Like, if you're not having fun at this, bro, it's gonna be a real long, frustrating spring. So I'm like, loosen up, bro. Whatever you think you do, you need to laugh, you need to joke, you need to he. Like, embrace it, bro, because shit, it ain't gonna be perfect every day. Embrace it. That's my boy, DJ. Yeah, embrace it, though. So, like, we trying to embrace it, you know, and I'm trying to find out how to fill that role of being a general. You know, right now, to my guys, I don't want them to call me big general. You know, some guys do, some guys don't, and I'm cool, perfectly fine with it. Call me Reed, because before you call me general, I want to show you why I'm the general.
Amazing. Amazing. That was maybe the longest answer we've ever had on one of these shows. Thank you for explaining everything perfectly, because I remember when you took that UCLA visit, I was talking to some people at USC, and they were like, oh, or maybe he's going to visit USC, like, well, we'll see. And then it seemed like once they knew that you were in LA, like you said, they put the full court press on you, and that changed everything. So thank you for that colorful picture of your recruitment. I know USC fans are really happy to have you here. Let's get to your position on the field. On Monday, Lincoln Riley said you were a versatile guy. They like you at multiple positions. We all think you're playing center. You're playing center, right?
Yeah.
What's that battle like with Killian O'Connor?
Killian, that guy. I call him Kill because, you know, he's a silent assassin. You know, guy worked hard. But I respect him. You know, he worked hard. He was a backup to a great guy who obviously is gonna get drafted in a good position in a good round. So like he knows football. Like, you know, like he's one of them guys you gotta compete with. Like he does everything correctly. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's on time to everything. He knows what to be. He knows what not to do. He knows everything. And then it's like how can you not want to follow this guy's direction? So it's that, and I embrace him. Like, I like him. I like him a lot because I respect what he does and what it means to be a center. Like, okay, you carry yourself as a true center. Like, you know, forget size. Like, bro, like you're an undersized guy, but people out here respect you because you put the work in there to earn the respect. And I'm never gonna discredit you for that. So like, he that guy, you know, and he helps me understand things. We ask questions. We do our thing, you know, and it's nothing like, hey, bro, I need, what should I call for this? Like, I would call it this, but what do y'all call it? He's like, okay, yeah, like we call it this. And I'm like, all right, cool. But then make sure I reprogram myself of old knowledge to new knowledge, because football, it's just really just terminology that I gotta remember. It's changing terminology.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what's been hard about that? Like a different offense, but new terminology. Like, you do have to make the calls. You're kind of, you know, you have the other offensive linemen depending on what you're doing. Has that been hard to kind of pick all that up, or is it like you said, just terminology? Football's football.
Man, football. What I will say is this: when I do get like, when I don't know what to make the call, I can put everybody in the right direction without the call. Like, just listen, like, hey, y'all do this, y'all do that. We're going to do this, and we work into that. Okay, cool. Like, I don't know the call, but this is what you need to do. I know the picture. I understand the play conceptually. So because I understand the play conceptually, I might not know all the proper calls that we need at the moment because shit, we still day one. I'm still trying to figure out, like, okay, like, shit, like, I know this is the play. Like, I know inside zone. I know outside zone. I know gap scheme. You know what I'm saying? I know personnel. I know pass protection. I know all that. I understand that. And it's just making sure I understand it in Lincoln Riley terms and Coach Hansen terms. In my old line terms. That's the hardest. That's probably going to be the hardest part. It's just getting familiarized with the words. So like when we in meetings, like I might already know what the answer is to this, but I'm gonna write it down again. I done wrote this thing down 4 or 5 times because I got to keep writing it down. Because the more I write it down, the more I'm gonna remember it. The more I'm gonna drill it in. And the next thing you know, as we on the field, it comes naturally. Because now I'm not worried about it. Because I'm not never gonna want to think slow. On the field, I never want my problem to be not knowing what to say. Because that's not, as a center, that's not good. Me not being able to tell you what to do is never good. If I go hush on y'all, something's wrong.
Amazing. Yeah.
I can't.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. And I can't do that. So so I study hard. I study hard, really. That's what I do. I'll study hard as possible. But I'm also a live and learn type of guy, so I got to go through this stuff. Like, okay, I got to see it. Okay, we probably run like this at Syracuse, but they want to run like this, so this is what I got to do different. So that's stuff that you can't just drop X and O's on the board. You got to just go through it. You got to walk through it, and then that's what Coach Riley doing a good job of, is having us do a lot of walks. Like, you got to walk through it because shoot, you want to get 1,000 reps before you even get to the season. Before I get to the season, I should already take 1,000 reps. That means I got 1,000 reps more than my opponent. So now I went from being amateur to now advanced. Now when we get to not advanced, I mean intermediate. Now when we get to fall camp, I can be advanced at what we're doing, and I can go in at full speed.
Yeah, it seems like the reps are so valuable. That's why spring is so important with all the new pieces. Last season, you blocked for Kyle McCord and Quinn Allen, 2 really good offensive players. At USC, you'll have Jaden Mayava, quarterback, Wayman Jordan, Eli Sanders, Brian Jackson, a couple other running backs. Have you gotten a chance to bond with some of the skill position guys, Mayava, and some of the running backs? I know last year you had so much success on offense. What are your thoughts on some of the guys at USC in the skill position groups, and have you had a chance to talk with them much?
Well, shit, me and Jay, me and him, we already locked in, bro. Me and him, it's already a known factor. Like, hey, bro, when we was going through winter lifts, it was like after lifts, like, hey, bro, we getting these snaps there for sure. BJ happened to be in my rack in the weight room. So, okay, BJ, you lifted with us? I'm like, why? I'm like, that's what I said. Like, first of all, like when I first got it, like, why? Like, why are you lifting with us? Like, you know how much weight we gotta change because we gonna go up 150 pounds or whatever you doing. So, like, why are you lifting with us? And then next thing you know, I was like, oh, this dude's strong. This dude's strong as hell. So next thing you know, by him being strong, I was like, okay. So I'm like, oh, I bet you strong. I'm gonna show you what strong look like though. So we get underneath that squat bar, man. He's like, oh snap! I'm like, that's what I do. I like squatting. That's what I do. We put some place on that thing. We can get the things clapping. That's what I do. So me and BJ, we've been bonding. I've been talking crap to him like mud. He liked it though. I'd be like, hey bro, you better run hard. He like, I'm gonna show you. I'm like, better run hard. He like, I got you. He said, you better block. I said, I got you. So he good. I like him. Me and Jack, we hitting it off. Me and Lem, we hitting it off. Man, I hit it off with everybody, even on the defensive side, man. I'm cool with all of them boys, man. I ain't gonna lie. Integrated with the guys was easy. Because, shit, we all here for the same reason. We all love football. We all young. We all like having fun. And, shit, let's learn something about each other, So that was normal. Like, it was just the first week, it was like, let's see if he can really do what he do. Yeah, you got to kind of show out because everybody looking and want to know, like, what are you? Who are you? So, like, you got to do that. So, but once you start doing that and they see you work, like, bro, everybody around going to respect your work. So that's all I've been doing is just head down working as hard as I can. I feel like I can go harder. I'm just trying to just progress correctly. I don't want to go full steam ahead and blow gassy. So
it's funny. Every time we get one of the players on. They've just been huge hits. I think you're going to be a fan favorite. Like we've had Woody Marks on. Everyone loved him. We have Jacoby Lane. All these guys that people love. I think everyone's going to be all excited to watch you and follow your career, your year here at USC. But this is great. So we appreciate you doing this. We got a live chat question from YouTube from Trojan Fight. So who's your favorite defensive lineman to match up with in practice?
All of them.
Okay.
All of them. I want them all. I want them all. You feel me? I want them from, let me put it in this perspective. My boy Boone. I want it from him. You know, he quick, fast, and explosive. I need that. I need that type of work. Expose me to that. But then you got my boy Kobe. He over here. He a big, heavy, solid dude. Shit, you remind me of Via Veda. You know, but then you got dudes like Ja who come over and then you got him. You like, oh shit, like god damn, this is Carter, like Jalen Carter almost. They're like god dang. Then you got my boy Thanos. He just a different little athlete. You know what I mean? Like he different. He got his own little swagger, and I respect him because I know what that Louisiana swagger looks like. I know some real 5 DNs that came out of Louisiana. So if he embracing what I know he embracing and standing on what I know he's standing on, but that boy, it's gonna be something bad. You know what I'm talking about? But who else, man? Florida, different boy. He come with a little attitude. I had to almost tell him something like, hey, bro, chill out. We ain't in pass. Chill out. Chill out. Bro, all them boys, even Cash, young boy, coming in, shit. He feel like he got something to prove. I'm like, bro, bring it. Like everybody, like they all want to smoke with me, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm inviting it because I'll be talking shit to let them know that, hey, yo, bring the smoke because I want them to bring their best, bro. I think USC is known for competition, so we're gonna compete. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy with the guys I'm competing against because these guys make me feel like I'm about to get way better. You know why? Because the goddamn coach Aaron Donald. You understand? Like, I want that work. I ain't dodging that work. I want that work because if you got a guy who coached Aaron Donald, don't tell me what he gonna turn these dudes into. I want him to turn them boys into some monsters. Monsters. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna stand on all that with my army. You feel me? Me and my army 11, we gonna whoop that ass. But I want them boys to be some monsters. Like I want them boys to like when they walk the sidewalk crack. Like, yeah, I won't smoke with all of them. And I'm happy because them boys, they all got something different and I'm willing to see what I don't know. Like I know what I can do. I'm looking for what I can't do in this spring. Like what can I do? Like, and then I'm already getting challenged with that by taking slight reps at guard. I ain't never played guard, but we're gonna work on that and we're gonna do what I do because Coach Henson said it's gonna help you. Now if he say it help me, it's gonna help me.
Amazing. So great breakdown of the defensive lineman. Everyone's loving this interview. I've gotten a couple of texts about how much people are loving you, man. How about the offensive line? So you got Elijah Page at left tackle, Lonnie Noah at one of the guard spots, DJ, it sounds like you've gotten to know him a little bit, Tobias Raymond. Tell us about the offensive line, your teammates there.
I don't know what the hell EP did cutting his hair. Like, yo. But that's my guy. Me, when I first got here, me and EP, we was the first two to hit it off. We hit it off because he ended up working out in my rack. So that's why we hit it off. Then me and my boy Lonnie was also in my rack. And Lonnie was like, bro, how you squat like that? Like, how do you squat like that? And then ever since we've been working out together, I've been pushing both these guys in the weight room. Because before I started playing football, my first passion was to become a powerlifter. So the weight room, I love the weight room. I embrace the weight room. I know what the weight room can do and what it can't do for you. So I like that. I like that a lot. So when I got there, them boys was getting pushed, and I like the way they was just taking it. They was like, shit, all right, let's see. If you right, you right. Let's see. So like,
how about DJ?
DJ, he unique. you know, we still feeling each other out because we both transfers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know he another silent assassin. You know what I'm saying? I seen him working though. Like bro got heart. You know, he got a heart. He got a motor. You know, he got a diesel engine in him for sure. You know, he keep working. No matter what the work is, he keep working, and I like that because like that's what I feel like I should do too. Like, hey, no matter how hard it is, no matter how long we've been running, we got to keep pumping. Like, just keep pumping. You know what I'm saying? You know, diesels run all night and day, so that's what we is. We ain't no Ferraris or nothing like that. You know, we a big Mack truck. So we embrace it. And I like that because he know what it is, and he real intelligent, bro. Like he know football. Like when we be on it, like he be out there like helping me with some things because I came in a little later than them, so they had a little bit more up. But in the beginning, like he was like, "Hey, bro, this is what we gonna call this. This is what they call that." I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "But we don't run this." I was like, "Why we don't run this?" Like, he was like, "I don't know. We should." I said, "We should. We gonna run that. We gonna run that." So like he knows football a lot too. Like, you know, he got it. Like, he a finesse guy. You know, he know how to put himself in the right position to win. And then on the outside, you got my boy Tobias. You know, Tobias, man, real quiet dude who really intelligent. He's probably I ain't never met a tackle so smart like him before. Like I knew smart tackles, but like he's verbally smart. Most tackles always be like, I got the DN. If I ain't got the DN, I go down. But like he like they just got they only worry about that little triangle of their world. And then they supposed to, you know, Like, but like he's smart. Like he see, hey, check, hey, read, fire. Oh, okay, hey, check. We going there, you know. And then like I like that because like, bro, you able to communicate that like willingly and like not hesitantly, we good. We gonna succeed because right when you tell me that, I'm gonna recommand the whole line to know what we doing. And then that's quick because one thing about it is we got 30 seconds. We're gonna get the play. Once we get set, we gotta see them get set. Then we gotta make an ID, and then from there we make the ID. Then we gotta see if they're gonna potentially switch anything on us. And by the time all that happened, man, 22 seconds then ran by. And all we got is 8 seconds. And then oh shit, they didn't switch the whole defense. Now we gotta check it all. Okay, and then that's what I'll come in at because all I need is 3 seconds.
Amazing. What's your relationship like? Or sorry to cut you off. What's your relationship like with Zach Hansen?
That's great. He's great. Man. You know, he really babied me through this whole process in the transfer portal, man. You know, he knew like he respected me as a mature guy, as an older guy. He told me exactly what his vision was for me and what he wanted me to come in and do. And he also challenged me like I told him to. He was like, I'm gonna challenge you. He said, you might not know how, but I'm gonna challenge you. And the thing is, he has definitely been challenging me in ways that I have been challenged before, and then also in ways I haven't. So I'm adapting, but it's a great open relationship right now. You know what I'm saying? I can come to him about anything. He's very open-minded. And he's young. You know, so he's more understanding with like how we think, how younger people think nowadays. And he's more hip to us, how the old people would say.
Us old people, yeah. We had a question on the Peristyle from Gate Call. That's his handle, the Peristyle. He wanted to know, did you have a favorite game playing for the Orange that you for run blocking specifically? Like, did you have a favorite run blocking game from your days at Syracuse?
Man, it'd be my first year in Pitt. You know, we didn't have our quarterback. Our quarterback got hurt real early in on the season. So yeah, it'd be Pitt. It'd be UNC underneath the Dino Babers era.
Okay.
It'd be Pitt, UNC. I want to say Florida State because of my pride, but no.
All right.
Underneath the Fran Brown era, shit, almost every game. But I'll tell you this. I say my first 3 games before I got hurt, and UConn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one, Connor, but have to go back and look.
Well, I'm always working on Saturday, so I haven't watched as many of these games as I would like. What's it like, J'Onre, going from ACC defensive lineman to Big Ten defensive lineman? Is that like, do you feel like that's going to be a change? Is football just football? Are you anticipating a different level of intensity in this conference? Yes or no?
I hope I get the level when you get around guys and stuff like that, I'm not like scared. I'm not scared because I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not scared of what we're going to face and nothing like that. But I am fearful because I don't know what to prep for in the Big Ten. Being said that, I know in the ACC, I knew, okay, we're going to go against guys who's quick and speedy. And then you're going to get these 3-4 teams that got these big old monsters. Okay, cool. And they only going to have one or two. And then every big old monster that I done faced happened to be a giant softy in a sense of way. Like, he was only good for 1 or 2 plays, and then after that, he was dogging. So, what I do see from the guys we got here, I feel like it's going to be a different level of competition. You know, I feel like I got to pull out a new bag of tricks to win what I know what I need to win. And then, like, having DJ, like, I asked DJ, he was like, it's football. So, like, by him telling me that, I was like, I know what you mean, bro. All right. He was like, it's just football, bro. It ain't going to change. So I was like, all right, bet. Because, you know, he came from a smaller school before he went to Purdue. I think he was at it was a red school. I want to say, I got to figure it out. I know because we talked about it. But he transferred to Purdue. And so he made a big leap up from like a small conference to a bigger conference. And he dominated it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a precedent there.
Yeah. We had another question on the Peristyle. This is from Aerodynamics. What was the coolest thing about the Carrier Dome, which is now a different name,
It's
right?
now the JMA Wireless Dome.
I was never there for the Carrier Dome.
I was.
Oh.
It was the JMA Dome for me.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing about it was when we stormed the field after beating Miami. Yes.
Knocked them out of the playoff. That was awesome.
We did it. You betted against us. Ha. 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 They thought we wasn't going to win. Kyle McCord, the truth. That's all I'm going to say.
Nice. Love it.
Kyle McCord is the truth. I hope he has a good NFL career. J'Onre, did you at all think about putting your name in the draft after your last season in Syracuse, or were you always going to try to play another year of college?
Yeah, honestly, I prepared last year as it was my last year. You know,
you thought it was, right? Because you didn't know the JC year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like, man, you know, I was ready to announce my declaration. You know, at one point when I was in the transfer, I was like, bro, why am I here? Like, I got a good draft grade. Like, go to the league. Like, I'm talking to my family. My family like, yeah, you can go to the league. And then my agent like, hold up, slow your roll. This is what we're gonna do. Because this is one thing I will say. The one thing that made me want to come back to college football was that I didn't finish my college career how I wanted to.
How come?
Like, I want to dominate the conference. You know what I'm saying? The year before, I went from being like the top 5 center in the conference to the previous year, last year, being number 14 because I got hurt. So from being like, let me say it like this. Basically, I went from being like doing super great things to just doing the average stuff. And the average stuff put me at 14. And I was very disappointed in myself. So that was one of the things that motivated me to get myself into the transfer portal.
Yeah. So are you 100% healthy, and is that injury behind you now?
Yeah, that injury behind me.
We had an interesting one, USC Colo on the Peristyle. Would you rather play on an offensive line with 2 NFL caliber tackles or 2 NFL caliber guards? Would you rather have better tackles or better guards around you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
See, that's a bad question because I'm gonna say it like this: you got two tackles, two great ass tackles.
Yeah.
Then you got it's nothing wrong with that. But you got a weak interior. That means so if you have a weak interior, then you can't run the ball. So all you can do is throw the ball. So now your quarterback throwing 80, 90 throws a game. If you have two great interior guys and bad tackles, you can never get the ball thrown. You know what I mean? Unless you run play actions, and then how many of them play actions don't really sell when they just be like, we know it's a play action because that's the only way you can throw the ball, or rollouts, or whatever, you know. So what I prefer?
Yeah, like for you.
I would prefer one great tackle and one great guard.
All right.
And when you look at things like that, if you look at the league, if you look at great offensive lines that had won natty championships and stuff like that, the teams that won natty championship, the whole line wasn't great. You have a great tackle, a great guard, and you had an intelligent center. That's what it was.
Nice.
And everybody else, you had a hard worker. The guys that lacked athleticism, they was hard workers, and the guys that was hard workers was also intelligent. So like everybody was smart, everybody was working with each other, and that's what we have here. But luckily I got 4 across the board. I got 2 great guards, I got 2 good tackles.
USC fans will love to hear that, and I know you can kind of, if you have hard workers but maybe not as skilled as some other guys, you can always scheme around stuff if you have a good play caller. J'Onre, we'll get you out of here with this. Thank you so much for the time. You've been phenomenal. The last question from us: what are your goals for this upcoming season at USC?
I don't honestly, that's too far ahead right now to think about. You know, I'm kind of where my feet are right now. My goals right now is for me, one, is to understand the playbook in and out, adapt more with my team, become closer with my old line, and from a standpoint, finish the spring out, understanding what kind of offense we are, and then also looking at what kind of team we are and what we can do in the summer to make that better. The season away. The season's far away. Anybody think about the season right now is a fool. I'm thinking about where we at now, what the team should do now.
Well, this has been so entertaining. It's really nice to meet you, and we're wishing you the best of luck. I got to give you the applause, like it was. These have been great. Like these opportunities, we get to talk to you guys for like a few minutes at a time after practice or a game or something. And again, shout out to House of Victory for setting these up. But every time we've had someone on, it's been such a fun experience just to get to know your personality. I think all the fans who are watching now and they'll listen to it later are just gonna be like, man, we really want to root for this guy. And they're really happy to have J'Onre Reed as USC's center for going forward, looking like it. But thank you again for coming on.
Man, it was a pleasure to be on, and I thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody who's watching, and for those who are going to watch, thank you too. Fight on. The name's Big General Reed, and man, I'm happy to be our new center. You know, hey, we're gonna do big things. I won't doubt you. I won't. What's it? I think I said it right. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No apologies needed, man. This is been
but yeah, like I said, I'll just be thinking about things. But like I said, man, it's a pleasure, man. I can't wait to do the big things in the college for y'all, man. Hey, I won't be disappointed this year. I swear, he got it right. You know what I'm saying? They asked me, do I ride with Lincoln? I said Riley. All right, appreciate you.
All right, thanks, J'Onre. All right, well, we're going to let him go. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back in a minute. We'll come back with the regular podcast. Back in a second. All righty, we are back.
What a guest!
That was wild. He was amazing. I think he's still on. J'Onre, you can log off now if you need to. You're good. We're just going to move on with the show. Holy cow, we couldn't really get to some of the questions we had because there was he gave such great answers and thorough answers. That was awesome.
It was tremendous, and I don't think I've ever gotten as many texts about a guest as I did for this one. So very entertaining, too. Thank you so much to the big general. I liked how he was talking about some guys still aren't calling him that yet because he has to earn that nickname somehow. But, man, if you're fast-forwarding and just getting to this part of the show, definitely
That was 45 minutes of it. His first, it was one answer. I asked him about the transfer portal. That was 15 minutes.
I didn't even need to ask any follow-up because I was going to ask him about the UCLA visit and how it all came to be with USC. But he goes, they found out I was at UCLA. They didn't like that. They sent everything to me. And they made sure I was visiting USC the next day. And I slept on it, and then he ended up committing right after that. And that was funny, too. Lincoln Riley said Monday, yeah, we like him in multiple spots. And he was like, I'm a center. He's supposed to win the job, of course, but he seems like he's well on his way to doing that. And Killian O'Connor will push him, too. But, man, what a great guest. It reminds me, excuse me, Ryan, of when we had Woody Marks on at the Crest Sports Bar.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That event we do every summer. And that was amazing. All the fans at that bar just loved Woody Marks, and maybe we can get Big General for that event. That would be amazing.
He would be great. Yeah, I think we had Woody Marks on,
and we had him on
this, and then once House Victory brought him to the Crest Sports Bar for that. Was it the Trojan quarterbacks? Is that the quarterback? I get them mixed up sometimes, but yes. That's going to be coming up again. We'll let you guys know when that's happening, and they're going to set up some more players and stuff. So Connor and I will be there again. And I just told everyone, you're going to love Woody. And then they loved Woody, and he was amazing. And Big General did not disappoint. Holy cow.
But not at all.
We haven't done a podcast for a little while. So if you've been listening to the feed, if you're watching on YouTube also, we've had Connor and Chris did their spring previews and broke it down. Would you guys do 10 episodes? Was it 10 or?
10 episodes, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So a lot of episodes, so you can check all those out. Spring ball did start. We do want to thank our sponsor, Trader Joe's. Been great to us over the years. We want to jump in with that. If you're watching on YouTube or listening or watching on Facebook, we're live on Facebook too, or listening on any of the podcasting platforms, go check out Trader Joe's. If you go to traderjoes.com right now, they have an elite Sweets tournament. So, it's March Madness. You know about that, Connor, right?
Yes.
A little March Madness going on. So I love this. You can go on their Instagram page and vote. They have a bracket and everything. There's a winner already for the cookie conference, the crispy, crunchy chocolate chip cookie. Those tub of little cookies, those are really good. They beat out the Aussie style chocolate cream sandwich cookies, but you also have mint chip ice cream versus coffee bean blast. I'm going mint chip all the way. And then fruity gummy candies versus the Scandinavian swimmers, which are Swedish fish. I love the fish better. And then they have Power Berries candy versus snacky clusters. I haven't tried either one of those, but the snacky clusters look a little more chocolatey, so I'm going to go with that one. But you can go in there and vote, and they have a tournament going on through March Madness. So go over that for Trader Joe's. But thanks again for Trader Joe's for being a great sponsor. I didn't get to mention it at the beginning because we just got right into it with J'Onre, and then that was amazing.
Thank you to Trader Joe's, and thank you to the Big General. What a great combination. Two great, I don't want to say sponsors, because obviously Big General isn't a sponsor, but just two great entities that help make this show so great. So, and shout out to House of Victory, too, for being the reason that we were able to get the Big General on. We're going to have a guest, I think, every week here during the spring.
We should, yeah.
What a great start.
I don't know. Who wants to follow that? It was just I think we had with Jacoby Lane, maybe one of the times, it was just okay, that's going to be really tough to beat, but we've had some great ones. Oh, it's Trojan Coaches Club. Yeah, so that'll be coming up in July.
July 12th.
Okay, so we'll let you guys know about that, but definitely go sign up for that. It's a lot of fun. We'll be speaking at a live event, and they'll get a couple players, most likely. I know they're going to try to set that up. So similar to kind of what we're doing here, but it's live and you can have a beer and have some food or whatever, which is a lot of fun. But I kind of MC it, I guess, or I don't know, whatever we have to do. But we just get up there and talk about what's been going on, like what we do here on the podcast. And I was in Vegas for the first weekend of March Madness, and I think Vegas won, Ryan 0. But we did I have a guy that bets a lot. He bets every game, first half, over under, first half money, like whatever, first half line, first half over under, full game, and full game over under. And so every day, so all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and whatever, we do all those bets. And it was kind of crazy. And we all kind of pulled money together. And he did a bunch of parlays on Sunday, and we ended up like kind of doubling our money at the end. So we were down. We're about even up the first day after Thursday, down the second day, made some money on parlays on Saturday, and then kind of doubled our money on Sunday. So I left like a little bit of a winner, but I was feeling a little rough. So I didn't make it to the first spring practice yesterday. I was like, just relax. It was just, I kind of got sick or something. I don't know if it was a stomach flu or something. I got something, but it wasn't great. But I'm feeling better now. But you got to go to practice yesterday. Pretty similar. Like, what was the overall deal with practice day one?
Pretty similar, but you can just tell the recruiting effort is totally different now with what USC's doing with Chad Bowden, Dre Brown, all those new hires. There were a bunch of recruits on campus for practice yesterday, and that's going to continue all throughout spring practice. It really is night and day from what USC's been doing in the past, where they would have guys for spring practice in the past, but it really hasn't looked, or didn't look like what it does yesterday and what it will look like in the future. So really, that stood out to me. But Chris and I did a recap video for instant analysis of day one yesterday. A lot of people were talking about Jaden Mayava and Lincoln Riley, saying that Hassan Longstreet is pushing him and is more advanced as a freshman. It's all true, but to me, the bigger story from yesterday is Lincoln Riley's comments about the linebacker group and comments about the offensive line. That's where I think they're just more position battles than at the quarterback spot. And Longstreet, I think his future is very bright, but I've said it a million times. I'd be very surprised if he was the week one starter for USC. To me, it just seems like that's Jaden Mayava's job when you look at the history of the transfer portal, quarterbacks moving, and just how everything's unfolded with what's happening at USC. I don't really think it makes sense to add a quarterback from the portal, and I don't think Longstreet's quite ready to push him. So it looks like it's going to be Jaden Mayava's time, and that to me is exciting because yes, he made some mistakes last season, but USC was 3-1 in his 4 starts, and I'd rather ride with him than a lot of these other quarterbacks. You could go through a list of the top returning quarterbacks, and he's pretty high up there. There isn't a ton of question NFL surefire first-round picks going into next season. There's a lot of guys with question marks. Mayava's one of them, but I'd take him over a lot of these other guys for sure.
Yeah, Riley talked about just, him understanding his role. It was weird last year where you get thrown in late in the season as the starter, and now you can kind of go to the offseason with more of a leader and things like that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We don't get to watch a lot. I know we had a question on the chat. Jordan Fairley still kicking media out within minutes of practice starting. Yes, so that hasn't changed. You get to watch the very beginning. We put a bunch of photos up. There'll be more going up, and there's a couple of videos, like some sights and sound videos you can check out on our YouTube channel. And I'll put some of the photos up here that from basically the players walking in. I'll be there Thursday. I'll try to get some action shots too. But there's some dudes just to see Jakeem Stewart, for the first time out there. J'Onre Reed would mention Floyd and stuff too. A couple of the defensive lineman guys that they seem like they're looking the part.
Yeah, they look pretty big. Everyone yesterday looked big, and that was a big emphasis last year. And USC, we remember, had that big emphasis to just get everyone bigger. But I feel like that's continued. And Kobe Pepe was looking huge. Braylon Shelby was looking huge. Walter Matthews was looking huge. There's just been an increase in size that's noticeable, and maybe even more so than last year. And that's come with the transfer portal too, adding guys like Jamal Jarrett, guys like Keyshawn Silver, DJ Wingfield is a big guy. They've added some beef. They've beefed up some of the guys they've already had. Just look like a bigger team than they have in the past couple of years.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, you need some of that size there, and you don't want to feel like it's where they just did some patchwork. Guys like Gavin Meyer and Nate Clifton, I think they did a nice job, coming in. But it seems like there's more bodies that you're like, all right, that looks like a guy that should be there on that defensive line. So, we don't get to watch a ton. But we'll share whatever we can. Make sure you check out Chris's Ghost Notes over at uscfootball.com. Those are great. Obviously, instant analysis videos are awesome. You can sign up right now if you're not a member, 50% off over at uscfootball.com. So go check that out. You will not be disappointed. Anything else kind of stand out to you from what you got to hear from a lot of players after practice? Again, we have all those videos up on our YouTube channel, Inside Troy, over there, so you can kind of see everything that like Lincoln Riley said and all the different players said. But anything kind of stand out from any of that?
Well, just based on what Lincoln Riley said Monday on Trojans Live, we could have 20 different offensive line combinations. Well, that is probably true. After talking to Big General today, talking to Tobias Raymond yesterday after practice, I would be very surprised if the offensive line going into the fall, assuming no one's added from the portal, from left to right, Elijah Page, DJ Winfield Alani Noah left guard, Big General Reed center, DJ Winfield right guard, and then at right tackle you have Tobias Raymond. That to me seems like that top group. Micah Benuelos is competing for a spot. Justin Tawanulu is competing for a spot. But just based on our conversations, I think that's the offensive line that you have going into the season. With the portal, and could you add someone to help potentially? But I just think the biggest portal needs that you could address after spring ball are positions where they're just real question marks. Where at linebacker, you have Eric Gentry, you have Desmond Stevens, and then Anthony Beavers, who's switching positions. Yes, that's your top three, but it would really help them to add another body. And then you look at the nickel position. It's probably Prophet Brown. Who's even really competing with him outside of an early enrollee freshman? You could probably add another body there. Whereas on the offensive line, the depth isn't great, but I can understand the 5 starters, and it looks like everyone has a backup. And yes, you probably need some help there from a depth perspective, but I don't know if you're adding anyone who's going to come in and play right away unless there's a sure thing. I think you could use a sure thing at linebacker, a sure thing in the secondary, and probably a sure thing at wide receiver too. Whereas with the offensive line, I think we know the group, and some people are a little down on that group, which I guess I understand. Not a lot of blue chip recruits, but I think you have your 5 starting guys, and at other positions there seem to be more question marks to me.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to getting out there on Thursday. So day 2 of spring football. But this is got me energized. Just talking to each other. It's oh my God, that's so much fun. We're going to see him. I wonder what he's going to do. Is he going to punch us or something when he sees us on the thing? It was pretty funny. But yes, I was definitely getting texts while this was going on.
Yes, me too.
Is it the Syracuse education? Does that make it so entertaining? I'm not sure.
You tell me.
Love it. No, that was great. Okay, so anything else from spring ball? We can move on to some of the other things we got, because we kind of took a lot of time with J'Onre, which is cool.
We can talk recruiting for a second. So
yeah.
Yesterday, modern day 4-star defensive lineman in the class of 2026, Tomohini Tapui, decommits from Oregon. And then next thing you know, he's at USC with a USC shirt, coming down the ramp with Chad Bowden and a few other people. And we got a bunch of crystal balls in for him to flip to USC. It seems like it's a matter of when and not if that flip's going to happen. So that, to me, Ryan, we talked about the barometer recruitment for USC in 2026 a couple weeks ago. He was my player. You get him over Oregon.
Tom.
Yes, the guy who Oregon deeply, deeply wants. And USC, let's just face it, hasn't won a lot of those battles over the years. That shows a total change. And even without him, clearly there's a change going on. But that head-to-head win over Oregon for a guy they desperately want at that marquee position in the middle of the defensive line, there's no other way to read it other than major progress is happening. That's a significant addition. He would be huge. So we're expecting a flip from him any day now. And it sounds like he's already told the USC team behind the scenes that he's committing. So I think any day now he's going to be added, and he signs with USC. That would be major, major progress.
It's obviously a huge deal, and Oregon has absolutely decimated USC in its own backyard as far as this recruiting stuff goes. But, USC wasn't playing the same game. They just didn't. And
boy, now are they? And
they are now. And so now it's not like you're going to get everybody.
And don't get it twisted. They could have been doing this earlier.
No, they certainly could have been. But getting the personnel staff that we went on the show about a lot, we came to you when we got to hear from, we had that, sit down with Chad Bowden. We talked about how, excited we were just to see how things were being run now. It's a different game being played on the recruiting side. And yes, there could have been doing this before. When the rules of the game change, some people adapt quicker. USC's not been that fast to adapt to a lot of these things. I think Jen Cohen, Lincoln Riley got together. They figured out what they needed to do. The amount of staff members they brought in and the talent and all of that makes a difference. Oh, and you have the funds as well. And when people last year, when we were saying it wasn't just the money, they had money last year. They didn't have the right personnel staff to sort of spend it right. Now they have the money and the right personnel staff. And you're seeing things like this where
it's the number one class.
It's like, hey, that makes it different. But number one class, whatever, and you'll see if there's guys out of state. It's the big defensive lineman that's highly ranked at modern day. Is he going to go to USC or is he going to go to Oregon? He's been going to Oregon lately. Well, this one now might go to USC. And I think that shows you, as far as barometer goes, like you're talking, like Gerard likes to talk about, that's a big deal. And just to be, I don't think USC was even in it before, but to be able to get someone to decommit and flip, you had to be playing at least a similar game to what Oregon was doing. If you wanted to stay home, Oregon's packages, everything that Oregon was doing, and it's not just money, and people want to say it was money. They recruited the hell out of these guys, too. They do such a good job, and USC wasn't doing that. And now they are. Now you're playing a different game. Now you got guys like Chad Bowden in there going, hey, here's how we're going to win. Like problem solvers. What do we need to happen? It's like if you ever watch the show House, like you just go into the hospital and like, what's your ailment? No idea. Nobody knows. And House has to come figure it out. Sometimes there's really unique problems in recruiting. Like, is it the money? Is it the travel? Is it the family needs this? Is it whatever? You need a problem solver. And they have a personnel staff led by Chad Bowden they're going to solve the problem. Like, what needs to happen? What needs to happen so Tom doesn't go to Oregon and goes to USC, where I don't think you were looking at it that way before. You're like, well, here's the reasons why we're not going to be able to get them. You might not get guys like that, but I think you have. From me talking to Chad Bowden, he comes off to me as someone like, we're going to figure out the way to make it happen. I like problem solvers. I like people that. Your girlfriend said this to me once, and we've had a lot of swears on the show, so I'll say it again. Get shit done. I try to be someone who just get shit done. I started this website almost 30 years ago or whatever, and whatever problems, I wrote all the code. Just get shit done. Make it happen. And my impression of Chad was he's a guy that says, I'm going to get shit done. It's not tell you why we can't get this guy. It's going to be, I'm going to do everything in my power to get this guy. And it looks like that's something like that's working. So it's not going to work every time, but you want someone there that's not just going to be like, well, here's why. No. Here, let's figure out reasons why it's going to, flip and why you can make this happen, get shit done. And he's someone that gets shit done.
I heard great things about Trey Brown yesterday, too. I talked to a parent of one of the recruits who was there, one of the highly rated guys, and he mentioned how Dre Brown really impressed him. And that's a guy who is very, very talented, very good at the relationship piece, just very good at what he does. And he's the assistant general manager, Brown is. So the fact that Chad Bowden comes was huge for Notre Dame, but he's clearly surrounded himself with some really talented individuals like Brown, like Max Steinecker, like Zaire Turner. The whole department has been revolutionized, and USC badly needed that, as it's been evidenced by our 2024 class. 2025 class, landing Jakeem Stewart was huge, but then there were some high-profile misses on signing day and leading up to signing day. Maybe that happens like with one or two guys moving forward, but you just feel so much better about the operation, which is really, really important.
Yeah, 100%. And there was a late commit as we were going live.
Yes.
It's Chase Denise.
Yes, a 3-star offensive tackle from San Diego. His mom is the softball coach at San Diego State, legendary softball player at UCLA. And he doesn't go to UCLA, he goes to USC. UCLA wanted him. He was recently on UCLA's campus. So another recruit, local guy. Not a lot of buzz around this recruitment like there has been with some other ones, Ryan, but Chase Denise. When Chad Bowden tells us USC is going to take the most freshmen that they've ever taken in 2026, we believe them, and you're seeing that here. They're taking a lot of guys. They're prioritizing the local recruiting. I believe they're up to 16 commits now in the 2026 class with Denise's addition. So Zach Hansen tweeted out that emoji, the fight on emoji last night. Everyone was like, oh, what's it going to be? Is it Keenan Pepe? Is it some other offensive lineman? It was Chase Denise, and it seems like the USC staff is really excited to have him in the fold. Just another huge guy at 6'7", 280 pounds. They're really prioritizing mass as on their offensive line. I mean, John Fafita, 6'6", 350 pounds. These offensive linemen, Eason Tafa, 6'4", 305 pounds. They're recruiting some behemoths, and that's great to see.
Behemoths is right. All right. Well, I think that's about all I have. We have some questions we can get to, unless there's anything else you want to talk about. There's just a lot.
Just like right now is the best time to be on our website, to be a subscriber to the YouTube channel with so much happening with recruiting, so much happening with spring football. Chris and I and Ahmad and you, Ryan, will be on the scene. No more Jack Smith, unfortunately, for instant analysis.
We had to kick him out. We're working on a new intern, so hopefully for Thursday we might have her come out. Yeah, okay, so we'll see. I should have had it for yesterday, but I wasn't able to make it. So
fine. But yeah. The stuff we're doing, I feel like it's just never been better. So I hope you can subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, you should, but still go over to the website and see what we're writing about. Everything that you're looking for covering USC football, I promise you it will be there.
It'll be there. This is an email from maybe a couple weeks ago when we did our last show from Dave. He's like, hello, gentlemen. Listen to the very upbeat podcast about Chad Bowden and his staff. I would just caution you against the all too frequent habit of USCfootball.com to drink the first press conference Kool-Aid. Gallons of Kool-Aid while drunk after Lincoln Riley's first press conference. To be fair, that was the biggest hire USC had made in 100 years. So if you want to drink some Kool-Aid of a press conference, since the most accomplished coach USC's hired since Howard Jones in 1923 or whatever, maybe give a break there. I certainly hope the optimism is warranted, but we've been fooled before. Well, you're seeing some of the recruits and the class putting together. So you're seeing some of that. This is personnel staff excitement, and that means adding great personnel, and they've been doing that so far. But anyway, it is very significant that Jennifer Cohen wrestled some power away from Lincoln Riley and established a second locus of power. I don't know what he means by that. But who does the GM report to? I've heard you mention that Bowden would fight hard for recruits he thought were worthy, even if the coaching staff felt differently. My question is, who would resolve disputes between the GM and the head coach? It would be interesting to see how the power dynamics between Bowden, Riley, and Cohen evolve over time. Thanks for your coverage, Dave.
It's a great question, and it's something we're still trying to get answers on. Ideally, it's Jen Cohen, but Lincoln Riley makes the most amount of money at USC, and he still has a lot of control, even though it's been diminished a little bit, as we've seen. He doesn't have as many of his people in the building anymore. Still a lot of them, but it's different. So I do think, Ryan, right now on March 26th, things are great. USC spring practice just started. They have the number one class in the country. They're going to get a bunch of guys. Things are moving in the right direction. There's going to be adversity at some point with recruiting, with on-the-field stuff. Just like any program, there's going to be bumps in the road. And then what transpires from there will be really interesting to see. But, Bowden, I think he reports to both Lincoln Riley and Jen Cohen. It's certainly not a Stanford situation where Andrew Luck power to fire the coach. Don't expect Chad Bowden to fire Lincoln Riley. That's not going to happen. Riley brought in Bowden along with Jen Cohen, and it's sort of like a triangle of power, if you will, but I think Bowden's number 3 on the list.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You mentioned Troy Taylor, the Stanford head coach. It seems like Stanford is set up more of an NFL model where the general manager can fire the coach. But the owner would have to. If the owner didn't want that, that wouldn't happen. So there's still like the owner would be like the AD in this situation. I mean, there's a president and stuff too, but USC doesn't really. They have an outgoing president and then an interim and all that kind of stuff. But I would say, I think what Dave was saying is there was a lot of power there, and there was a lot of, like you mentioned, Connor, Riley guys that came over from Oklahoma. There's a lot fewer of them now. There's a power dynamic. It's not necessarily like a linear thing where, Jen Cohen is the ultimate boss, but there was a contract signed before she got there. So there's power in the fact that Lincoln Riley has this massive contract and a massive buyout. Can you really be fired? No. I mean, we'll see in a year or two, but as of now, that wasn't going to happen. But, Jen Cohen helping to put people in place around Lincoln Riley to help make it successful, people that Lincoln Riley wanted to, work with as well. And they all have to kind of work together. But I would put, if you had to do a hierarchy thing, I think, Chad Bowden would be on the lower end of that. But I think he's been given the keys to, this part of this fiefdom. He's going to be running this stuff. And, if he's bringing in some stud recruit, I don't see Lincoln Riley saying, no, we don't want that guy. But I think you're going to see working with the money people at House of Victory to get, these contracts done, working with Jen Cohen, with the revenue share and how that all is going to work. They have to all kind of work together because the landscape's changing. The way players are going to get compensated are changing. Scholarships are changing. Like everything's sort of changing. So they do all have to kind of work together. I don't know if everyone's trumping anyone else as far as like certain things, but they're going to let Chad and his team cook as far as going out on the recruiting trail. And I think it's fair to say, like, a guy like Tom isn't potentially flipping last year, right? Like, this is happening because of they have the money that they've raised, and they've done a really good job of that. But also the personnel staff, I think, is significantly better. So I would say it's a combination of those things. If this was happening last year, probably not. I wouldn't guess that would have happened.
Well, I look at it like this. Whose job is more secure right now? It's Bowden. Who has more power? It's Riley. And when you look at what those people are in charge of doing, Lincoln Riley's job is to win football games. And USC hasn't done that at the level anticipated. Chad Bowden's brand new, but his job is to bring in recruits.
Yeah.
And he's knocking that out of the park.
Yes.
He's doing exactly what he was added to do. It's still early in the process. A lot's going to change. There will be ups and downs, but I don't think that's a crazy thing to say where he's probably more secure than Riley just because he's doing better at his job than Riley's done the past couple of years. Now, it's tough to compare that when he's just gotten here. But, like, he was hired by Jen Cohen and Riley wasn't. That's another part of it. And to me, this is getting way too far in the future because I do think USC will be better this upcoming season. But if they have another dud, like, is it crazy to say Riley goes and Bowden stays and then Riley and Bowden work together, Cohen and Bowden work together to bring in a new coach? Like, I could see that playing out where if Riley's not getting the results that Jen Cohen wants and it goes really south, like, then if he were to leave, Bowden's still in charge with Cohen and they bring in their own person to try to run the show. Now, that is, way into the future. That's nothing that's happening now, but I do think that's in play if the results aren't there this fall.
Yeah, I think everyone has to do their jobs, right? And I think you could say, like, Jen Cohen's been doing a really good job. We've only seen Chad Bowden be doing, his job for a couple of months, but it's been, the results have been great so far. Who knows? The whole class could fall apart and then he wouldn't have done a good job. But so far, he's been doing a good job. For Riley, you got to win games. And I think the new campaign is, what's the House of Victory campaign? It's something about win. Like, it's now time to win. Yeah. And everyone's job is trying to get, USC to win football games. I think Jen Cohen, that's what she wants. The whole point of bringing in good recruits is to win football games. But the ultimate decider of that, where it all rests, all the power is going to be at the head coach. His job is to win football games. And he has a lot of support around him now, but everyone needs to work together to try to get that done. If they don't end up winning football games, you're probably not blaming Jen Cohen at this point. You're probably not blaming Chad Bowden or Denton Lynn, you're blaming Lincoln Riley because it's going to, it rests at his feet. So that's what they got to get done. But they've done so much better around him now that you're hoping for a lot better results.
Certainly, and that's understandable with what's been poured into everything with the football program like that right now. Like the fact that they're beating Oregon for recruits a year ago, that was like crazy to think about. It was like, oh, no, that's just never going to happen. They're just not playing the same game. And now they are. So the 2026 class, of course, has no bearing on what happens this fall. And they probably won't have much of a bearing on what happens the following fall. But like surrounding Riley with better players, if that's not good enough to win more games, then logically, like you got to make a change. So the fact that the roster is better, I think, this season than it was the past 2 years outside of Caleb, I don't think that's crazy to say. Makes a lot of sense. Like the one damning quote that is unfortunate is when Riley came in and said, "This is the worst roster we'll have in that first year," and then
that was your best result.
It ended up being probably the best roster that they've had. Now, I do think the roster is getting better, and that should lead to better results. Like Lincoln Riley's been a disappointing 2 years, but still a really good coach with a great resume. Like I do think that's going to get better.
Yeah.
So maybe me bringing up how like if it goes really south, like some crazy changes could happen is a little premature. But one more bad year, like let's just face the reality that could happen. So we'll see.
All right, let's speaking of the recruiting class and everything going on, we have our buddy Curtis is back.
Wow. I think 8 keeps you in the ball game. 8 regular season wins. So, while that might not make a ton of people happy, you're still losing 4 games. Like 8, I think, keeps you in the mix.
Interesting. People are saying they didn't hear Curtis.
No, they didn't.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder why they weren't. Weird. Well, sorry about that. It should be recorded. So hopefully if you're listening on the podcast version, you could hear it. Otherwise, I will manually insert it.
He asked, how many wins will it take for USC this fall to keep their star-studded recruiting class? And I think 8 should do it, where 8-4, not exactly where you want to be, but you show progress from a couple years ago. You win more games than you have the last 2 regular seasons. Like, you can sell that there's progress, and hey, we get all you guys in the fold, then we're off and running next season. So anything below that might hurt, but like look at Auburn. Auburn sucked, and they had a really good recruiting class. I don't think you necessarily need to win to keep a really good class. Does that help? Of course, but there's examples of teams who have not had as good seasons where they hung on to a lot of guys. And even if USC has a disappointing year, I still think no matter what, they're going to have a really good recruiting class. How good it is probably depends on the amount of wins, but like say they go 6-6 or whatever, like if Cohen comes out and says Riley's back 100%, then I still think with the money they're spending, with the people they have in place, they can still have a really good class.
Yeah. Sorry if you couldn't hear Kurtz, but that was the gist of his voicemail. I'm not sure why. It wasn't working, but my apologies for that. We'll see. We'll go on. We have an email from Stephen Poway. Dear Ryan, a triple-double. In all honesty, which player would you rather have suiting up in Cardinal and Gold this year? Husan Longstreet or Julian Lewis? Which player do you think will start for his team first? And he says, P.S., do you think that Kevin Longstreet, Husan's brother, will be joining his brother at SC? Would be a big plus. Thanks, Stephen Poway.
Kevin Longstreet is here, so
Yeah.
I don't exactly understand that last part of it.
I think he said, do you think he will be a big plus? I'm sorry.
He's going to be a walk-on, so I don't think he'll play much.
Yeah.
Who's going to play first? Well, who'd I rather have? I don't know. They're both highly touted quarterbacks, and I'd be foolish to sit here and say one of these guys will be better than the other right now when you just have no idea. Both highly ranked guys, both really talented. Longstreet's a little bit more highly ranked, so we'll see who has a better chance to win their job as a freshman. Probably Lewis, because he's going up against a transfer quarterback at Colorado instead of an established guy than what's happening at USC. But if Longstreet had a better career, would that surprise me? If Lewis had a better career, would that surprise me? I don't really know how to answer that right now, where both guys were highly ranked, and now it's just kind of like, do you have a winning ticket or not? Both guys are talented, and Longstreet probably has better measurables and has more upside as a long-term NFL guy. But I mean, Lewis has NFL upside too, so I don't want to say 100% one way or the other. I think both have a chance to be really good, and now we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, but I think in this era now that players can leave, just the way Lewis was committed for as long as he was, and it just wasn't really the firm commitment. Longstreet was and decommitted, and from A&M to USC. But being a local guy, I think you'd rather just have that. We saw Miller Moss stick around for a long time until there was just, you just had to transfer. There was no question about it. I figure Longstreet would be someone that would stick around even if he doesn't win the job right away, where you might question someone from out of state or whatever. So I think it's a better fit for USC.
Yeah.
To have Longstreet there.
I would agree with that. Better fit and just better optics in year one. But who's to say who's going to be better right now?
Yeah.
In terms of the early returns, yeah. Son Longstreet, that is better. He seems like a team first guy. He's all in on USC, where you couldn't say the same about Lewis. That makes a lot of sense to me. But I mean, Julian Lewis, it was a turbulent recruitment, and he went to Colorado, but Lincoln Riley, the quarterback guru, liked this guy from the beginning and liked him enough that when he reclassified, wanted him, and he was the first option. Let's not make a mistake. He sucks. He didn't come to USC. There's no chance he's at Colorado. The guy who everyone says is this great quarterback developer, because he is, wanted this player, and there's a reason he wanted him. He doesn't suck now because he's not at USC. So it's going to be fascinating to see who ends up being better.
Yeah. YouTube comment, Trojan Fight. Do you guys expect the spring portal to be underwhelming? Opens in a few weeks. Not hearing much nationally of guys planning to enter yet.
I think so many guys have already signed their deals NIL-wise before the settlement starts, so they could front load a lot of this money. So I do get the sense it's going to be underwhelming, and I look at it kind of like last year's, where there will be players who you can add who will be plug-and-play guys like a Greedy Vance, like a Gavin Meyer, guys who can help. But I really don't see DJ Lagway, the quarterback from entering, and then there's this arms race to add him. Just with how deals are structured and with the current landscape of college football with that settlement, if you're really good and locked in already, it just doesn't make sense to leave. And we saw the last portal cycle, teams hung on to their studs. That's been a big part of what Bud Elliott and his team at their national podcast. What's the name of it? The Bud Elliott
Cover 3.
Yes, the Cover 3 podcast. They talked about that. They expected bigger things from that first portal, but with NIL, teams are able to lock down their stars more effectively. And so, could a big name enter? Yes. Don't rule it out, but there are a lot of factors that would suggest it's going to be more like a Greedy Vance, Gavin Meyer kind of situation than these all-pro, crazy NFL future guys mentoring potentially.
Earl and Torrance, okay, we're going to bring it down a little bit, so I just warn you. The deadline came and went for my USC football season ticket renewal, and I only renewed my Trojan Athletic Fund membership. After every loss, Lincoln Riley keeps insisting we were only one play away. Never occurred to him, at least publicly, that he lost because his opponents were better coached. If you're really one play away, you don't lose 6 games when you were leading going into the fourth quarter for 5 of them. He made numerous coaching upgrades and other improvements on paper with no results on the field. I'll be back but I'm going to sit the rest of the Lincoln Riley era on the sidelines, Earl and Torrance. I think this is like a low stock time, Earl, that you could buy. Like, you're obviously not a Riley fan, but there's so much better around him right now. I feel they're going to win a bunch more games. I don't know. Well, that just might be me, but Earl's sitting it out though, Connor.
Well, I mean, I understand. Like, the last 2 years have been disappointing, and this great 2026 recruiting class doesn't help you in the fall. I would just say, like, I think they've made some changes for the better. They went through that first year of the Big Ten. Now, going into year 2, you have a better understanding of what you're up against. I don't know. I'm higher on them than I was last year. The schedule sets up so much better, too, where the middle is hard, but those first 4 games should be winnable games. So there should be a slow build of momentum with the team. I understand that the frustration, though, and USC, they have had just a couple years here winning the offseason and not doing well on the field. So I get it.
Yeah. Just like if you sat through Clay, you could get through this. Yeah, I think it's a lot better people and places of power right now than was in that era. I think that'll help. One last one, Scott in Houston. Despite last season's utter mediocrity, USC managed to post wins over 2 SEC powers in LSU and Texas A&M. Do those victories hold any significance to you as we look forward to 2025?
Not really, honestly. Like, Texas A&M, all their good studs on the defensive line sat out. I don't think bowl games mean all that much. Look at the Louisville game. I thought Miller Moss was going to be better than he was, and that didn't end up happening, and he had the big bowl game. And then the LSU win, don't want to discount it, but, like, after that, the conversation switched, and I was part of it, to, like, hey, USC has a chance to compete for the college football playoff. But as the season went on, LSU was a massively flawed team. I think they finished 6th or 7th in the SEC. So it's a nice win on a neutral field in the first game of the season, but it's not like you beat Texas. It's not like you beat an SEC team that really had a lot going for it. That was a disappointing LSU team last season. And in the bowl game against Texas A&M, it's a nice win. Don't want to discount what Jaden Mayaba was able to do to bring that team back, but, like, that team wasn't fully healthy, and bowl games are, let's just face it, right now, they're more glorified scrimmages than they are real games. If that was Texas A&M at full strength and USC's offensive line held up against a defensive front that's going to have 3 top 2-round NFL draft picks, then I would absolutely change my mind. But I don't know. I think that's a way for fans to feel better about last season. Oh, we beat 2 SEC teams undefeated against the SEC. Well, I don't know. What did that really get you? I
think you're still trying to build something, and that is, getting those kind of wins. Like, if you look at the NCAA tournament, why was the SEC get so many teams in? Because they did really well in those out-of-conference games. Those out-of-conference games matter, and I think going into next season, it's a Big Ten versus SEC battle every year, probably, right? You're going to, the Big Ten's won the last 2 national championships. I think those are good things to have on your resume, like, just to have those SEC wins, and you might not get to play an SEC team next year, right? They don't play one.
No,
yeah. But just getting those opportunities, you want to win those. Now you need to beat Maryland, and Minnesota, and stuff too. But I think it can help a little, just knowing that you've got some big their brand names, their logo, side of the helmet kind of victories. But yeah, you just got to go win a bunch of games. And it's nice if you want to use something for that. Maybe you can use it on the recruiting trail. I don't know. But I think it's one of those things where you got to win the games that you should have won. And it was road games in the Big Ten that was the killer. And, you can't lose those games. You can't have Purdue losses, or Illinois is going to be pretty good. Like, that's going to be a tough road win, road game next year. But yeah. But I mean, whenever you get those are things you could talk about, like, beat Texas A&M. I mean, just watching the LSU, if you beat Minnesota, how many, like, Minnesotans were going to be crying in their beer, like, dozens? There would be some, people that would have been like, they were like, oh yeah, USC came and beat us. we were in Vegas and we saw the kind of devastation that was caused by USC beating LSU. There's still some satisfaction in that, knowing we saw the guy puking on the side of the street as we were walking out of the stadium. Like, if that was Minnesota or Maryland, like, that wouldn't have happened. So there's some significance to it. There's a lot of people that you really upset by beating those teams, even though their teams were flawed, even though they weren't that good, even if it was a bowl game, whatever, opening kickoff game. There's still some satisfaction knowing that you pissed off a lot of their fans by them losing to a very mediocre USC team.
That's true. Winning is obviously always better than losing. My point is just what did that get you last year? Like, oh, you know, against the SEC. Okay, what'd you do against the Big Ten? Like, that's really what is more significant. You got to win those league games. And
yes.
If they had done way better in the league and gotten better as the season went on, and that, you know, they lose to LSU, but they take a step forward, then fine. But they beat LSU and they went backwards. So it's like, okay, nice, but you lost fewer games. Like,
yeah,
it would have been more significant if they had a better season. And I mean, hey, if they lost to LSU and Texas A&M, like, am I crapping on them? Probably. But like the fact that they won, if you said before the season you're going to beat LSU this year, you're going to beat Texas A&M this year, what would you have thought?
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to the playoff. They're
in Wisconsin, you're going to beat Wisconsin.
Okay, here we go. Nice wins, but how will we remember last season? Not that they went 2-0 against the SEC. It's that they went, 5-4 or whatever it was in the Big Ten and lost games that they should have won. Like, that, to me, is more meaningful. And, yeah, that can help your recruiting. But, like, at the end of the day, they were 6-6. Like, nice job against the SEC, but you got to do better than that.
All right. Connor, one last one for you from YouTube. How's the running back room look from Jay?
I think it's looking great. I think Wayman Jordan's going to be really good in this offense. He wants to be more of a pass-catching back, wants to play that Woody Marks role. I am really excited about him. I'm excited about Brian Jackson. He might have a chance to be running back too. Eli Sanders is another good piece in the room. I love the competitive depth in that room. We did the show about a month ago now, Ryan, when you talked about the things we're excited for, and the running back room was number one on my list. I think that has a chance to be the strength of the team. And, I'm really impressed with what they've built up there. Love the competition. I think that group has a chance to be really good.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up. Thanks, everyone. If you're watching us live on YouTube, I know it's been a little while since Connor and I did a show. They did a whole bunch of shows while during the last couple of weeks doing the previews for spring practice. But we're back. We're going to be doing these House of Victory ones. Again, thanks to House of Victory. You go to housevictory.com, go check it out. They got all the information there. I'll put the QR code up on the screen again if you want to donate. I guess it's like in a weird spot there. But yes, because they've been really great with us, working and getting us players. And I hope you guys enjoyed all of that. I mean, J'Onre Reed, like, holy crap, that was amazing. So he was a lot of fun. We tried to give you some favorite players you can root for. You're going to root for number 50, USC center, going forward for sure. But thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Ryan.
Good stuff. We had a lot of fun. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and we will talk to you next time.